On occasion the Lord was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's grove, Anathapindika's park. Then, in the morning, the Lord dressed, took his bowl and robe, and went to the residence of the householder Anathapindika, where he sat down on the seat that was prepared for him. Now on that occasion, people in Anathapindika's residence were making an uproar and a racket. Then the householder Anathapindika approached the Lord, paid homage to him, and sat down to one side. The Lord then said to him, "Householder, why are people in your residence making such an uproar and a racket? One would think it was fishermen at a haul of fish. This, Bhante, is my daughter-in-law Sujata, who is rich and has been brought here from a rich family. She doesn't obey her father-in-law, her mother-in-law, or her husband. She doesn't even honor, respect, esteem, and venerate the Lord." Then the Lord addressed Sujata. "Come here, Sujata." "Yes, Bhante," she replied. She went to the Lord, paid homage to him, and sat down to one side. The Lord then said to her, "Sujata, a man might have 7 kinds of wives." "What 7? "One like a killer, one like a thief, one like a tyrant, one like a mother, one like a sister, one like a friend, and one like a slave. A man might have these 7 kinds of wives. Which one are you?" "Bhante, I do not understand in detail the meaning of this statement that the Lord has spoken in brief. Please let the Lord teach me the Dhamma in such a way that I might understand in detail the meaning of this statement spoken in brief. Then listen and attend closely, Sujata. I will speak." "Yes, Bhante," she replied. The Lord said this. With hateful mind, devoid of sympathy, lusting for others, despising her husband, she seeks to kill the one who bought her with wealth. A wife like this is called a wife and a killer. When the woman's husband acquires wealth by toiling at a craft, trade, or farming, she tries to steal it, even if he earns but little. A wife like this is called a wife and a thief. The lazy glutton, unwilling to work, harsh, fierce, rough in speech. A woman who dominates her own supporters. A wife like this is called a wife and a tyrant. One always benevolent and sympathetic, who guards her husband as a mother her son, who protects the wealth he earns. A wife like this is called a wife and a mother. She who holds her husband in high regard, as younger sister her elder brother. Conscientious, following her husband's will. A wife like this is called a wife and a sister. One who rejoices when she sees her husband, as if seeing a friend after a long absence. Well-raised, virtuous, devoted to her husband. A wife like this is called a wife and a friend. One who remains patient and calm when threatened with violence by the rod. Who tolerates her husband with a mind free of hate. Patient, submissive to her husband's will. A wife like this is called a wife and a slave. The types of wives here called: a killer, a thief, and a tyrant. Immoral, harsh, disrespectful. With the body's breakup go to hell. But the types of wives here called: mother, sister, friend, and slave. Firm in virtue, long restrained. With the body's breakup go to heaven. A man, Sujata, might have these 7 kinds of wives. Now which one are you? Beginning today, Bhante, let the Lord consider me a wife who is like a slave. Anger. Bhikkhus, there are these 7 things that are gratifying and advantageous to an enemy that come upon an angry man or woman. What 7? Here, Bhikkhus, an enemy wishes for an enemy. May he be ugly. For what reason? An enemy does not delight in the beauty of an enemy. When an angry person is overcome and oppressed by anger, though he may be well bathed, well anointed, with trimmed hair and beard, dressed in white clothes, still, he is ugly. This is the first thing gratifying and advantageous to an enemy that comes upon an angry man or woman. Again, an enemy wishes for an enemy. May he sleep badly. For what reason? An enemy does not delight when an enemy sleeps well. When an angry person is overcome and oppressed by anger, Though he may sleep on a couch spread with rugs, blankets, and covers, with an excellent covering of antelope hide, with a canopy and red bolsters at both ends, still, he sleeps badly. This is the second thing gratifying and advantageous to an enemy that comes upon an angry man or woman. Again, an enemy wishes for an enemy. May he not succeed. For what reason? An enemy does not delight in the success of an enemy. When an angry person is overcome and oppressed by anger, if he gets what is harmful, he thinks, I have gotten what is beneficial, and if he gets what is beneficial, he thinks, I have gotten what is harmful. When, overcome by anger, he gets these things that are diametrically opposed, they lead to his harm and suffering for a long time. This is the third thing gratifying and advantageous to an enemy that comes upon an angry man or woman. Again, an enemy wishes for an enemy. May he not be wealthy. For what reason? An enemy does not delight in the wealth of an enemy. When an angry person is overcome and oppressed by anger, kings appropriate for the royal treasury any wealth he has acquired by energetic striving, amassed by the strength of his arms, earned by the sweat of his brow, righteous wealth righteously gained. This is the fourth thing gratifying and advantageous to an enemy that comes upon an angry man or woman. Again, an enemy wishes for an enemy. May he not be famous. For what reason? An enemy does not delight in the fame of an enemy. When an angry person is overcome and oppressed by anger, he loses whatever fame he had acquired through alertfulness. This is the fifth thing gratifying and advantageous to an enemy that comes upon an angry man or woman. Again, an enemy wishes for an enemy. May he have no friends. For what reason? An enemy does not delight in an enemy having friends. When an angry person is overcome and oppressed by anger, his friends and companions, relatives and family members, avoid him from afar. This is the sixth thing gratifying and advantageous to an enemy that comes upon an angry man or woman. Again, an enemy wishes for an enemy. With the breakup of the body, after death, may he be reborn in the plane of misery, in a bad destination, in the lower world, in hell. For what reason? An enemy does not delight in an enemy's going to a good destination. When an angry person is overcome and oppressed by anger, he engages in misconduct by body, speech, and mind. As a consequence, still overcome by anger, with the breakup of the body, after death, he is reborn in the plane of misery, in a bad destination, in the lower world, in hell. This is the seventh thing gratifying and advantageous to an enemy that comes upon an angry man or woman. These are the 7 things gratifying and advantageous to an enemy that come upon an angry man or woman. The angry person is ugly. He also sleeps badly. Having gained some benefit, he takes it to be harmful. The angry person, overcome by anger, having slain by body and speech, incurs the loss of wealth. Maddened by anger, he acquires a bad reputation. His relatives, friends, and loved ones avoid the angry person. Anger is a cause of harm. Anger stirs up mental turmoil. People do not recognize the peril that has arisen from within. The angry person doesn't know the good. The angry person doesn't see the Dhamma. There is just blindness and dense gloom. When anger overcomes a person, when an angry person causes damage, whether easily or with difficulty, later, when the anger has vanished, he is tormented as if burnt by fire. He shows recalcitrance, as a fire does a smoky crest. When his anger spreads outward, people become angry on his account. He has no shame or fear of wrong. His speech is not respectful. One overcome by anger has no island of safety at all. I will tell you about the deeds that produce torment. Listen to them as they are. Remote from those that are righteous. An angry person slays his father. An angry person slays his own mother. An angry person slays a Brahmin. An angry person slays a worldling. The angry worldling slays his mother. the good woman who gave him life, the one by whom he was nurtured, and who showed him this world. Those beings, like oneself, each hold their self most dear. Yet those who are angry kill themselves in various ways. When they are distraught about diverse matters, some kill themselves with a sword. Some who are distraught swallow poison. Some hang themselves with a rope. Some into a mountain gorge. Deeds that involve destroying growth, and deeds that cause their own death. When doing such deeds they do not know that defeat is born of anger. Thus death's snare hidden in the heart has taken the form of anger. One should cut it off by self-control, panna, energy, and right view. The wise person should eradicate this one harmful quality. In such a way one should train in the Dhamma. Do not yield to recalcitrance. Free from anger, their misery gone. Free from delusion, no longer avid. Tamed, having abandoned anger, the taintless ones attain nibbana. 7. The Great Chapter.